Hello and welcome to the Blake's Brothers show. I'm so glad to be back again, man.
So am I. Welcome, 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 welcome.
This is so exciting. You know, it's exciting for us because this is what we love to do. And frankly, we believe that this is really where ministry is. It's about conversation. It's about dialogue about issues, and it's about transparency. And that they're going to get all of that here.
And I think it's important that you understand that ministry and religion are two different things.
Absolutely.
Our answers are not always going to be religious.
That's right.
From a religious vantage point, should I say. But I promise you they will be accurate and they'll be honest.
Let's go into the first question. Okay, here's question one. I've been married to my wife for 12 years. I love her very much. She just got promoted at her job and is now making more money than I am. I'm feeling emasculated now. Oh. I know we're living in the I am woman, hear me roar era now, but I still want to be the king of my jungle. Is it wrong for me to feel this way? I have some opinions. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, nothing within the confines of this statement makes me believe that your wife is the one that makes you feel this way. It seems as if there is something internal. There's something internal in you. There's an insecurity within you. You got to get over that, my brother. I got one word for you. Celebrate.
Absolutely.
Celebrate her, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, you just kind of touched on it. It's something within you that is deficient.
Yeah.
Because a king is always celebrating the expansion of a queen. And you don't want to be in a position where you've put yourself in a box and you've made yourself too small for your woman.
Yeah.
You want your woman to grow. The level of your woman is the truest indication of the quality of you, the man.
Certainly.
So you, as you said, you should celebrate that. And quite frankly, when you start talking about the accomplishments of a couple, it's not an individual accomplishment, it is a team accomplishment.
And two shall become one.
One.
And two shall become one. So her victories are your victories. Your victories are her victories. Celebrate, man, and enjoy the extra money.
Absolutely.
Don't feel emasculated. Don't feel intimidated. You know,
and don't give that woman problems.
Not at all. Not at all.
Because you have insecurities.
Well, you know, it's ironic that the same thing that attracts us to a woman intimidates us about a woman.
Yeah.
You know, you were attracted to her because of her intellect, her skill, you know,
her capacity.
Her capacity. And now her capacity has brought her into a greater place. Don't get intimidated by it, man. Celebrate it.
And watch this. Not her into a greater place, us into a greater place.
Exactly.
So celebrate her, man, and just kind of deal with your own personal issues. I would suggest that you go and get some kind of counseling, if it's no more than going talking to your local pastor, because you have to make some adjustments in terms of your own personal self-esteem.
Certainly.
What is that next question?
Next question is, I know y'all are bishops and all, but since y'all keep it real, tell us the truth. How can y'all preach about not having sex before marriage when everybody's been doing it for decades? It's 2018. Are there really non-married virgins in the world today? It's actually from D. Black.
Yeah. Everybody's not been doing it for decades. It's been going on since the beginnings of the world.
Right.
It's just a reality. Sexual tension is a reality. It's something that I quite honestly and frankly discuss about my own life. You know, I was never a sexual saint, and I'm quite honest about that in my writings, in my preachings, in my teachings, in my conversations. But just because it's something that all of us struggle with doesn't mean that it's right.
Right.
There's an epidemic of murder in the world. It doesn't mean that it's right. And when we are preaching and when we're teaching, when we're having conversations, we are reaching for God's ideal. Now, all of us, most of us, don't necessarily reach that ideal, but we're all reaching for it.
Certainly.
And to answer the other part of that question, there are people who are virgins that get married. I married a man and a woman who were both virgins.
Wow.
So it does happen. It does happen. And I have to agree with her that, you know, most people are not reaching that ideal, but it doesn't mean that we should not aspire to.
Well, the truth does not cease to be the truth just because I'm wrong.
That's right.
You know, there are areas of my life that are wrong, but it's still the truth. I tell people when I preach, the word is like a boomerang. You know, I throw it out, but sometimes that very word I throw out and that very word I preach comes right back and hits me because it is still the truth, whether I am in error or not. So, you know, we will continue to preach about, you know, purity and all of the above. And sometimes we'll preach it from a vantage point of error.
Absolutely.
But the truth is still the truth. We are not perfect vessels.
No.
But it is a perfect word.
And you know, the practical, you know, sometimes we get caught up on, you know, presenting such truth in a religious, from a religious or in a religious tone of voice. But the practical reasoning behind aspiring for celibacy or abstinence is a better word, is that it keeps the confusion out of your choices.
Certainly.
Sex always confuses the mind, the soul, as I might use in, you know, in some of my teachings. It confuses the mind so that you really can't make wise decisions relationally based on your intellect, or if you're a spiritual person or a Christian as we are, based on the discernment of your spirit. So we teach that you should try to steer away from that because sex confuses things.
Well, sex is a physical act, but it has emotional and spiritual consequences. You know, so the best thing to do is try to be as celibate as you possibly can be.
Some of the worst decisions I've made, and I'll leave it at that, were on the backside of that. And praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Let's talk from a more practical perspective now about how one may actually steer his or her life in the direction of abstinence. Number one, I would say the pursuit of your personal vision.
Yeah.
You know, I found that when I really fell in love with where I was going and what I was put here to do, and my life was preoccupied with purpose, it really absorbed all of the time that allowed my mind to wander. And by the time, you know, I was through working on the stuff I really needed to work on, you know, I was worn out.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you are busy doing what you're supposed to do, it doesn't leave you a lot of time to do what you're trying not to do.
Absolutely.
You know, or what you're not supposed to be doing, if you will, you know. Secondly, I would say don't play with fire. Mm-hmm. Know yourself. Know what your weaknesses are, what your limitations are. Know what your struggles are. Just like a person who's on a diet has to stay away from cake. Yeah. Sometimes we got to stay away from the things that,
absolutely,
you know, that weaken us, because I don't care how strong you are. For every Superman, there's some kryptonite.
The Bible puts it this way. It says, can a man take, you know, fire into his bosom and not get burned?
Right.
And they're just, quite frankly, some places and some people that you just cannot expose yourself to. And that kind of leads into my next point. You have to have boundaries, you know, relative to dating. Yeah. You have to have boundaries. I don't think you should have a date at your house. Not if you're really aspiring for abstinence.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, in the church we have this thing where brothers say, I want to tell the sisters, I want to come over and have a prayer meeting with you. Yeah. You know, and you know how that ends up. Praise the Lord.
The atmosphere is not conducive for you to achieve your goal. You sitting in the dark, you know, playing Teddy Pendergrass, turn off the lights. Yeah. You know, with a glass of wine. Yeah. You know where that's
headed. And then I think as well, I think if we really take, you know, because some in the Christian circles don't even believe in the concept of dating. I'm not one of those guys. I believe that dating is for data.
Yeah.
But I think there's a certain way we should date, or people should date. I think if we take the dating experience and we make it for the exploration of the person,
right,
as opposed to just, you know, admiring the physique and getting caught up in the romance, if we really make it about the exploration of the person and learning the person and the person learning us, I think that it shifts us to a higher level than, you know, the sexual tension, where the sexual tension lies.
What happens is we get so into the physiology, we don't check out the psychology.
Dangerous.
We kick the tires and we blow the horn and we look at the color, but we never raise up the hood and look at the engine. And that's how you wind up with somebody who's cute and crazy
at the same time. And you find it out a year after a sexual relationship.
Exactly.
That you got a crazy person on your hand.
So we sent our correspondent, Casey Ferran, out on the streets, and this is what she came up with.
I'm Casey Ferrand, your Blake's Brothers correspondent in New Orleans with Alicia Wiley. Tell me, what's your question for the Blake's Brothers?
I have a friend, she's getting married soon, and she's all excited, but her fiance came to me and said he loves her, he's just not ready, and he wants me to talk to her, but I don't know how to approach it without hurting her feelings, so I need some tips on how to talk to her, how to break it to her.
I think that she should be talking to him, quite honestly. I mean, this is a man. This is a man that is marrying your best friend, and he's having second thoughts, and he comes to you instead of coming to her. Alicia, I think number one, this may call for, just a real intervention concerning him as a man. You should really, first of all, I think, put his feet to the fire to talk to her, and if he doesn't talk to her in a reasonable amount of time, you have to talk to your friend, because it's just not, it's a bad look for a man to be in a position where you feel like you don't want to go through with this marriage, and you're talking to your fiance's best friend and
Right.
not your woman.
Right.
Come on now.
Yeah, but if he is not man enough to talk to her, she has to have that conversation with her friend. And I think she's kind of worried about hurting her friend, but you would rather her hurt for a moment than be hurt for a lifetime. So you need to have that conversation with your friend.
Yeah. And I mean, this is just a bad situation. And quite honestly, what we may call hurt may really be a blessing. And
Yeah.
I don't know this guy. I don't know why he's in this position, but it's a bad place for a man to be in a position where he has a woman believing that he's ready to marry and he's not.
Well, it's a situation where, certainly your conversation will cause her pain, but if she marries him, he'll cause her injury. There's a difference.
Wow, that's big. That is big. Talking to her may cause pain,
Yeah.
but possibly injury if she marries a man that's not really at that place of wanting to be her husband. That's good. That's real good.
Exactly.
Well, it's been a joy. It's been a real joy sharing with you guys today. And I want you to spread the word that we're here and we're doing this. We want your questions. You can send those questions to ask@BlakesBros, BROS.com. And we want, just send us the real. And we want to be able to answer it. We're going to try our best not to come from a preacher tone, and just real answers for real life.
We love you, man. Blessings and favor to you.
God bless you.